So today, I want to talk about tenses. So in English, when we think about tenses, you might think of the three main common ones: the past, the present, and the future. And you might think, well, that covers everything. It's either happening now, it's about to happen, or it already happened. But in Latin, we actually have 6 tenses, more than just these basic 3. So far, we've worked on the present tense, but today I kind of want to work on the past tense, what we refer to as the past tense. Now, these are a little bit different than what you might be used to. Now, in English, both of these are past tense, but they have slightly different names. So imagine I have a present sentence. I swim. Now, that is the present tense. Now, if it happened in the past, I have to figure out whether it's completed or it's not completed. So if it's not completed, I would say I was swimming. It's the idea that I was swimming, and then all of a sudden maybe a dolphin came and kidnapped me, but I wasn't done swimming. I could have been, but we don't know. So that is called the imperfect tense when it is incomplete. So I'm going to write incomplete so I can write myself a little note here that this is an incomplete action. Now my perfect tense is a complete action that happened in the past. So I swam. So if I say I swam, you know that I am done swimming. There was no question about it. So how we would see it on the timeline is I would like to put the perfect right here in the past. And I'm going to mark the imperfect with some little lines because it's not done yet. We have no clue if I am completed my action of swimming or not. So let's do another one. Let's do I call. Well, if I want to make it in the incomplete past or the imperfect, I would say I was calling. And the perfect would be I called. All right, because I can see with I was calling, maybe I was interrupted, but if I say I called, the action is now complete. Let's do another good one. Let's do hear. I hear. Now, what about the imperfect? I was hearing. And then the perfect tense, I heard. So if we take a look at these forms, the present tense is what we've been working on in class. These are your normal verbs that we've been seeing. But when you translate the imperfect, you're always going to see these was and an ing. That lets you know that this is imperfect. So if you see any sort of was something, even in English, that is the idea of an incomplete action in the past. I know, you probably never even realized it. And now the perfect tense is usually that ed form of the word, but you have words like swim, which are irregular. Like you never say I swimmed, it would be I swam. So that's the main idea between the present, the imperfect, and the perfect. So the idea is, how in the world do we recognize them? Well, in the present tense, it will be our normal verb, nothing that we've never seen before. They'll still end with the O, the S, the T, and the NT that we've seen. The O meaning your subject is I, the S meaning your subject is an understood you, T, you understood he, she, it, NT is they. And what the great thing is we're just going to be focusing on the third person singular today. So if I were to see words like love, I might see amat. He, she, it loves. Nothing that we haven't seen before. The imperfect will always have a BA in it, like this. Ama bat. This would be she was loving, to keep it in the imperfect. So if you see a BA in your word, you know it's imperfect. Now the perfect is a little bit more tricky. We'll come back to it later. But the general rule right now is if you see a V or an X in the middle of your verb, you will know that it's perfect, such as amawit, she loved. You see that V in here? That lets you know it's perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to read some sample sentences, and I want you to follow along with me. And we're going to see if we can figure out what is imperfect and what is perfect and what is present.